I'll be brief enough. What's the dropout rate in students that goes in, say, first year into veterinary?
I think it's probably better if you see. I don't know is the short answer. I don't have a number for the dropout rate. It's low, though. I think in those terms tend to be your dropout rates in third levels tend to be at lower points courses actually. So it's unlikely to be very high. I would have thought.
Do you know?
Maybe I'll answer first. I suppose I don't have those figures to hand. I could probably try and get them in terms of some of the feedback that comes from the programme to us.
I've just heard that it may be pretty, fairly high for the numbers that go in. That's and to be interesting to know. Am I correct in saying that it's all down to points in Ireland? Basically, you're not interviewed for the position. Am I right in that?
Sorry, say that again. Sorry, I missed that.
Am I correct in saying that it's and obviously because of the amount of spaces that it's down to points that you get?
Yes, I mean it is. Yeah.
And look at in the construction industry, I would have seen universities in the UK that would be renowned as the top of the top and the smartest of the so-called smartest went to it, and some of them had looked down on maybe a regional technical college that we call at one time, but I'd have seen engineers coming out from what they would call the ordinary place that would actually be as good if not better. And I think that the points game, while obviously people are very good at the subjects they're doing, there may be people more suited to every profession. It's not just alone veterinary. And I think that needs to be balanced. Would you agree with that? Like, it's sad to see, right? I'll give you an example. I have a daughter of my own, and the Poland things were the exam, or there was interviews going on a few weeks ago. And she knows that she won't get enough of pints here. She's getting ready. They've accepted her that she'll be going to Poland. But it's sad to see that we're exporting our own to other countries to do the course, and they'll be coming back here with the help of God working when they're qualified. But that's a totally different system where they interview you. Yes, there is criteria. And what's your view on that?
Yeah, so I suppose there's a couple of things I could say. First of all, within the European Union, students are free to do that. It's probably a good thing, and they do come back. And we're seeing that, and we see it in the veterinary register that students take the opportunity to be educated abroad and go back and work here. I think that's a good thing. I think it's the European Union working in a good way. It is easy, as you know, Deputy, to have a go at the point system and high points, but actually it's a very good system from a number of points of view. And I accept, as you say, that there are students who go to other places which are less points. But just to be clear, the HA doesn't distinguish between the provision it has across 17 institutions. They're all of a high class, and we don't kind of make that distinction. So I'm not going to help the Deputy by kind of condemning the point system, because I think the point system, taken in the broadest sense, is one of the ways in which we can do it. There are courses that go out there that we use. We use HPAT for medicine, for instance, which is so that kind of thing can be used. There's a portfolio introduced by UCD. There are other ways of doing it. The issue about the points is also about the number of places available, as you know. And I suppose what caused us to go out to the system was that we knew there were 82 places, and we knew that 2/3 of the register the last 5 years are Irish students mostly who have gone to Poland or Bucharest. So is there an issue there for us? And that's what we did.
Where do you see us, say, where do you see, first of all, you need infrastructure to increase numbers. You need lectures, the different, we'll call it all the different parts of the infrastructure. Where do you see us at the moment and going forward in credible numbers being attainable, be it in different places in Ireland or be it in, whoever basically looks to do the courses? Where do you see us having a sort of a happy number that suffices, and when do you see us there?
So what we've done is, and forgive me now, Deputy, we'd be happy to go back after the report is published and talk in detail about that. There's bits that I can't talk about because it's gone into the...
Yeah, I understand that.
But look, we looked for a range of numbers, and we will hope that we have some idea of what the demand is. If government are interested in extra numbers, we'll take a number from them. So we deliberately asked the institutions to cost in terms of capital in terms of infrastructure, but also in terms of time, in terms of lecturers, in terms of syllabus creation, what the cost would be of that provision. So that's built into the recommendations we've made. Those costs, travel, and the time to do it. The universities were well aware of the time they would need to do it. Now, one thing I will say is that while this is new in veterinary for a number of them, universities are very good at this in terms of new course provision. The state has been lucky, in fact, the third level has managed to expand so rapidly to produce very good graduates over time. So this is something they do, and what we're good at, I think, as a HEA is being able to assess what their application looked like. What we can't do is make a decision about whether it suits the veterinary council or not, and that's why we involve the veterinary council in that part of it. So in terms of your question around infrastructure and all of that and numbers, we've gone as wide as we can, both in terms of ensuring the infrastructure is, because we're very conscious, by the way, that there's no point in pretending that if they don't get the infrastructure, they can get through a veterinary council process. So that's where the answer lies. And so the number in the end, it'll lie outside of us. We hope to talk to government and to the two departments more directly over the next couple of weeks, but it'll be a matter for them to decide those things, I think.
How many VITs from Ireland, as a matter of instance, or many people between doing the courses here and in Europe are looking for these courses every year?
I do know that the CAOs had about 600 or 700 students every year apply for the 82 places that are here, and we do hear stories. So
each year is it? Yeah.
Yeah, each year. Yeah. So every year there's 600 or 700. So every year a new group of students come online looking for those 82, 83 places, 600. We know that. I know this less well because there are institutions that are not within my purview, but there are over 200 students, we think, overall studying abroad, like your daughter is, or will be. So that's the numbers we're looking at. Now, you will never satisfy all those numbers, nor should we seek to as a system, frankly, and we don't do it anywhere else either. So there'll always be the disappointed, I suppose. What you're asking me, I think, is are there broader things that matter in an assessment besides points? So I think the points stay. But as I said to you, medicine has looked at HPAT before. There is a portfolio system that the UCD use. We would be advocating a broader use of it. So they're supplementary. They do give an opportunity for students to demonstrate a broader capacity. The HPAT, I think, is very good at that. It asks other questions beyond the points one. So in there is a likely solution, but you will never satisfy entirely the market, and I think nor should you, because if we couldn't I think sustain 600 or 700 vets a year as a state. But also there's an opportunity cost to the university about other things students could be doing.
Last question, Niamh. Say in the line of VITs around the country, we know on the in the farming sector, there's more than a lot of grey hair, but there might be a bit greyer, say an older, right? What's the profile of the demographic of the age of VITs around the country? Is there a lot of older? Is there a gap somewhere? Are we going to be under pressure? Say no more than looking at pensions and different things. What's the sort of the trend right along in the country?
So if you were to look at a snapshot of the register now, the highest majority of vets are in their 30s and 40s. We do have significant numbers in their 50s, 60s and 70s as well. But I suppose we have higher numbers on our registers now than we would have done, say, 5, 10, 15 years in the past. So we're also adding more every year. The numbers of vets joining our register increase every single year. So that's a good thing, and I suppose that probably speaks to increased demand of students coming either from the UK or, the different programmes across Europe.
Just in non-general practice, would the same age profile be consistent with what you have said?
I can't give you a definite answer on that, Deputy, because we look at our register without getting into the specifics of area of practice. So I'd have to do a bit of it. I'd have to go digging, but I can do that.
We're hearing just that where we're coming from is that we're hearing, there's a lot of VITs come into the system, say looking at small animals, but that it's lesser of a number and sort of the seasoned operator that has ploughed the furrow for years that you ring every hour of the morning, that's doing the bigger animals. Do you see that trend, or what's the story?
I can't disagree with that I suppose, anecdotal assumption. What I can say to you is that we are doing a piece of work at the moment. We have more information than we've ever had on the people on our registers and the practices on our registers and the areas that they practice in. So we're in the process of compiling a report at the moment to look at all of this, and we'll be very happy to share that with you once that report is finalised. It's the first time that we'll have a very clear snapshot around the age profiles, whether or not people are in full or part-time employment, whether or not they're in companion animal practice, mixed practice, equine, large animal. So we've collated lots of information. We just have to analyse that now and put it into a report, and we'll be very happy to share that with you whenever the council finalise that report, but it isn't too long away, I hope.